All right, yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another webinar. So, in terms of like for those of you guys who are also here that are also going to be going to the boot camp, we're pretty much going to have a little bit of a shorter webinar for the next 15 days while the boot camp is underway. But I'll make sure you guys still get the breakdowns that a lot of you always request me to do. So, I'm going to break down gold, and then I'm going to break down GJ and where we could possibly look at these pairs travel to over the next few days. So in terms of long-term market direction, we've pretty much been right almost the entire time on where we could potentially see price actually travel to. So one thing that I was talking about on gold for overall kind of like this entire bearish trend that gold currently is in over the last few weeks since the beginning of May, end of March, let's call it, gold has been trending bearish. Once price actually broke under 1865 and started to push up and break back above 1830, one thing that I had pretty much said was I would like to see gold actually pull up into this 1865 area, which is a previous area of major resistance, where we could then actually look to start shorting gold again. So what I had said was pretty much you always want to trade from zone to zone. So if price is trading bearish and we see price break above a level of resistance like 1837, I wouldn't be too interested in selling again until we hit our next major area of resistance at 1865. At that point in time, if price can reject, then we'll look for price to continue to go short. But it all has to do again with not with just where price is trading at, but the timing. This week was the rejection week. Although you could have still made money off of selling gold at this point in time, this isn't when we were going to see the big move because again, all time frames have to be in sync. This was the rejection week. Then the following week, I said was going to be the week to actually go down bearish. And then the target would have been 1837, which price is pretty much trading at 1837 right now. So pretty simple in terms of like hypothesizing overall market direction. But when it came down to you taking short positions and looking where you could have taken a short position, the first sign of rejection was here. The second sign of rejection was here after you could see price close tests in this area. And then the other signs that price would have been looking to continue to keep going short would be these two pretty much failures to actually break above 1865, where you could see price attempt to push up multiple times to break 1865, but there was a lot of bullish exhaustion. There wasn't enough buying pressure for price to continue to go up. And then that's when we saw the big breakout pretty much this morning on gold. Now, one thing that I had said that you should look out for is if price does reject 1865, then the obvious target would be 1837. With the way momentum and everything is holding right now, basing off the weekly time frame, basing it off of the daily time frame, we definitely could see price actually break under this 1837 area. Now, if price does break under 1837, we can automatically look for price to come down into its previous lows. Call it 1800 is where I will look for price to go down to next, which is like 370 pips away. So you have all of this kind of room to look for a potential position. Now, the way I would like to take this trade pretty much would be based off of the smaller time frame. So like the hour time frame. I would wait for price to give me a clean break, pull back, retest, look for price to form some form of rejection, such as this one, and then look for price to go down into 1800 from that point on. So that's kind of how I would like to look to take another position here on gold if you didn't catch this move here. Now, in terms of like catching yesterday's move, it could have been fairly simple depending on, the type of trader that you are. But really quick, if you look at yesterday's London session, right, really the only sign for you to sell is you have multiple areas within this intraday time frame. So you have this hour level of support here, and then you have this minor area of previous support here as well. If you're somebody that uses fibs, you can also use fibs from this high to this low. Seeing that price pulled back 50%. Not only did price pull back 50% of the previous pretty much impulse to the downside, you had a lot of rejection towards these moving averages, which is another sign that I would like to take a position because price is failing to break above the moving averages. So there isn't enough bullish volume along with the bullish rejections you have to this minor area of previous support. Then the overall sell signal would have been right here. So you could have taken a position from a sell standpoint where you would have shorted after this sell signal stops above the high, and then take profit could have been down here, and you could have looked to gain possibly 3.4 times your risk, depending on how you would set your stop loss. You're looking at anywhere between 3.5 to about 2.8 times your risk, let's call it. So pretty simple trade. I wouldn't want to say it was too complicated or anything. Just having the overall understanding of where price is going to go on the higher time frames would definitely help you out with finding a cleaner setup on the lower time frames, because if the daily, the 4-hour, and the weekly are telling you to sell, then you really should only be looking to go short on the hour and the 30-minute time frame. Now, when it came down to GJ last night, I wasn't too what would the word be? I wasn't too, I don't want to use the word hesitant on taking buys, but I was only looking for buys on GJ last night because of what we discussed on the weekly time frame. So the weekly time frame is giving us a clear, clean as day break and retest setup, which is setup I've literally been talking about for the last few weeks here on GJ, and we're starting to see price push up into 163 or 164, which is where I kind of said, if we reject 157, then we could see price go up into 164 overall long term. You guys could go and like verify all of this information in the previous webinars as well. And again, it all comes with having a clearer understanding of where you are on the higher time frames, which will allow you to capitalize on those moves on the lower time frames. So me understanding that on the weekly time frame, price could travel up into 164. Seeing that price had hit this minor area of resistance here on the daily time frame, I wasn't too kind of inclined on looking for sells, because I know overall on the weekly time frame we could continue to look for buys. So I wouldn't want to really say there was a really clean setup here on GJ, because realistically, unless you bought right here, which you could have seen like this hour level of resistance here, right? Then there really wasn't any setup. What I was waiting for on GJ was actually, let me grab my, real quick, my bad, was actually a break above, a retest, and then a push up into 162,400, which is the next level of resistance, but price kind of never gave me that. So there was never any trade to take here on GJ. But when it comes to tonight, what we could potentially look for tonight, so we have resistance at about let's say 162,500, let's call it. Right, where pretty much price is currently trading at now. At this point in time, we're still trading under resistance, so I wouldn't be too kind of like inclined to want to take a long position right away. I'm going to wait for the following two things. So I'm going to wait for price to either break above 162,500, retest it, where I'll then look to buy at this point in time, and then look to take a trade up into 164, or wait for price to kind of give me a pullback back into 161,500, where I'll look to take a buy back up into 162,500. So those are really the only two trades I'm going to be looking for on GJ, continuing to buy with the daily and the weekly time frame, because bullish momentum is very strong here right now, and I would like to see this momentum kind of actually keep up, because I don't really see sellers coming into the picture at any point in time really, unless price gets up into like this range over here, which is going to be 163,800, and let's call it 164, let's call it 165. So 163, call it the range of 164 to 165. I wouldn't really be looking for like a big sell-off unless price gets into this area where we saw, a big sell-off from this area previously. So unless price is in that range, I wouldn't be looking to take a short position. So I'm going to continue to look to take a long position unless price obviously breaks under its previous lows at about 161 flat. So that was pretty much the breakdown. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they want me to go over?
Can you break down NAS and S&P?
So if you look at SPX on the weekly time frame, it's pulled back into its previous lows, which ultimately I'd be looking to short, but I'd be very concerned to look to short as of right now because of the previous week and how there's a lot of strong bullish momentum. If you look at the daily time frame clear as day double bottom along with this break of structure. So you could actually look to start taking buy positions here on the daily time frame. Really, I would just kind of like to wait and see if it's going to hold these hour lows. So if it maintains itself above these H1 lows, then I would look for it to come up into 42.03. And NAS is probably like the same exact thing, pretty much what we'd be looking for buys. Yeah, it's the same exact thing. As long as price can maintain above 12,500, I'll look for it to come up into 12,900, let's call it.
Okay. So Raul, if it breaks below, it breaks back below that area where it made the breaker structure, look to sell.
Yeah, so if it breaks under the support area at 12,500, I would start looking to short back into 12,140.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
You know, on S&P, if you go on the 4-hour time frame, I took a trade off that rejection candle, but I got stopped down, and I don't know if that's like
Which one?
a good trade. On the 4-hour time frame,
What trade?
and that one there.
This candlestick?
No, above
This one?
that, the bullish candle. Yeah, that one.
Trade here.
I took a long position there
Why?
because I thought it was a break and a retest,
Of where?
and then my level was a bit higher. It was 4153.2 area.
I mean, well, first of all, like, look at the time you're trading. Compare the time that you're trading and compare it to when there's volume in the market, which is,
So what time is this best for the indices?
do you know what time the stock market opens?
The New York session.
9:30 AM Eastern. That's the time that you want to be trading indices.
Okay. Thanks.
Other than that, you don't want to even touch indices. That's when you're gonna see real movement. But even then, like, it was bank holiday yesterday. Today there wasn't much movement either.
Yeah, and the other previously, do you know the break reaches down there? Lower. Yeah, this one there. No, top.
Here,
Yeah, there. I missed out on that because of my psychology. I was like too scared to enter into that trade.
why?
Like even the technicals were saying it was gonna go right, but I just had that feeling that it'll just hit my stop loss or make a low or something like that, you know?
I mean, if you're scared to enter a trade, it's because you're scared to lose money, and in situations like that, you just lower the risk.
Yeah, I tried that, but it didn't really work as well.
That's how I would proceed when I'm too worried about a position.
Yo, I got here late. Can you break down gold and GJ?
I mean, basically what I said is there's really nothing to do right now other than wait for a break and retest of 1830. And with GJ, it's either I'm looking to buy at 161,500 or looking for a break and retest of 162,500.
All right, so just sitting on your hands right now. All right, bro.
Oh yeah, Raul, could you do G real quick?
You said GU?
Yeah.
I mean, GU looks choppy in the lower time frames. If you look at the weekly time frame, price to me kind of really come down to support, but I know that 160, what is this, 1.26940 is an area where I would look to actually sell. So I'd kind of wait it out a little bit and see if price can actually retest this area to look to go short.
Hey, Raul, on gold, are you waiting for 1833 flat or 1833 point something?
I mean, it's overall kind of like a general zone. I'm waiting for this 1834 zone to break.
Okay, can I put like 1834? It's still valid?
Yeah, that's fine. It's just this overall zone right here. I'm waiting for the break and the retest, then looking to sell it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yo, Raul.
Where you looking to take gold when you sell it?
Say it again.
Where you looking to take gold when you catch a sell, or if you catch a sell?
If I sell in this area, I'm gonna look for price to come down to 1800, which is our previous lows.
All right, bro.
Yo, Raul.
Yeah.
I showed the AU. I just wanna G check my analysis. I showed the AU this morning.
Why you short it?
I showed it because on the I got it on the H4. I think I had a bearish engulfing that happened. I mean, I know it still didn't break structure, but on the weekly, it looked at like maybe that candle could start to like exhaust and turn into a wick. Like I forgot what retracement that was on my fields, but I just want to see if I could take a short right there. So I don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, thing is like, you're assuming it would kind of flip and turn into a wick, because you're not really trading at any level of major importance for you to even want to start that assumption anyways. Like, you tell me you were taking a short up here, I'd say, okay, at least, there's resistance, right? But price isn't even near that area, and the 4-hour time frame is still bullish right now. You look at the 4-hour time frame, you have high, higher low, higher high, so you're kind of shorting in the middle of a bullish trend.
But
Nice. Yeah. So I'm gonna answer questions for like 10 more minutes. Does anybody have any other questions or anything they want me to go over?
Oh yeah, Raul, I got a question real quick. I think it was on your last webinar, or like last two webinars. You said something about like drawing major levels, like if you can see it on the daily and weekly, that's a major level. I just wanted to like verify that.
Well, yeah, your major levels are based off the daily and the weekly time frame.
Okay, got you. So would you classify GU at GU at the 1.26940? Would you classify that as like a major level?
I would classify it as a major level because of the rejection you had previously on GU from this area on the weekly time frame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
You took that trade on gold last night?
No, I didn't take a position on gold last night.
Yeah, it was kind of rangy though for the past few days.
Yeah, but yes and no. I knew gold was gonna go short last night, especially once banks opened up, but I wasn't really too concerned on the overall range overall because the new weekly candlestick had opened up. And with the new weekly candlestick, you had already rejected, or price had already rejected 1865. So this is the week I anticipated price to go down to 1830. Will it break 1830 this week? We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's Wednesday, so typically like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's a lot of movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Raul. Raul?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
All right. I took a trade this morning on US 30. Right off the retest on the 30-minute, 9:30. So once I saw the retest, like the blue just finished touching, and I took the entry.
You took a
I
what?
think that was a good. I took a sell. I hit for 1 to 3.8.
You took a sell where though?
On the at 9:30 exactly.
So you took a sell up here.
Yeah, I had my daily on the 3,300.
So where's your stops and targets? So I mean, like,
So my stops was above the previous blue candle, right there, and my target was 32,750.
I wouldn't say it's like a high quality trade. Just because, it kind of just looks like you took a trade based off like a 30-minute time frame. Well, I mean, what's more important is that, ultimately you close the trade and you close the day in green. But it's not like a trade that I would have looked to take, especially on the 4-hour time frame and the daily time frame. You have all this bullish momentum. So essentially you're fighting that bullish momentum.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. So any final questions? Anything anybody wants to ask me?
Oh yeah, Raul, I got one more question.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for your what you call it, levels, right? Do you always wait for the daily to close above or below, whether it being minor or major?
For major levels, like that's what would let me know if price rejected that area or not.
Okay, so basically for like the minor, you just go to like the 4 hour to wait for like the break and retest, if I'm correct.
I mean, ultimately it depends on, what level I'm looking to take a position from. But like when it came down to the level that I was looking at on gold for like the weekly time frame, right? I knew we probably weren't gonna see like a major drop or a major reaction from that level on gold until this week closed. But I still took a short position, although it was kind of like a short-term short position. I didn't look for that big move because I know I would have been holding for days.
Yeah, okay, got you.
Yeah. All right, for sure.
Okay, Raul,